Hello, I'm Belinda Scarborough Kennedy. I'm the IBM Global University Specialty Programs Manager covering legal, medical, and historically Black colleges and universities. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me today to see some of the resources we have focused on in our ongoing relationship with HBCUs. Instead of me taking you through a PowerPoint, I want to show you live the depth and breadth of the resources we work with our partners to make available to faculty and students at historically Black colleges and universities. So I'm going to begin by sharing with you the IBM Global University Programs page. This is the starting point where we engage academic institutions to be able to leverage the assets that IBM makes available at no charge. Now, I'll show you when you get to this page, if you just Google IBM Global University Programs, you might see a starter picture that has a lot of movement. To tell you that you're on the right page, what you'll see is just a quick summary of some of the utilization by higher education institutions and students around the globe to date. IBM Global University Programs, this is the main way we provide access to IBM assets for accredited academic institutions. These assets are the resources that we provide to our clients. This is the main vehicle we then provide them to accredited institutions. As I scroll down the page, you'll see that one of our very first areas of the three we're going to cover today is the IBM Academic Initiative. So if you're following along, I encourage you to click on that blue box around the IBM Academic Initiative. This is the main program IBM uses to provide access to IBM resources at no charge to accredited academic institutions. At no charge, these are the resources that we provide to our clients. These are the resources used on a global basis. These are the assets that we want our students to be able to get their hands on so they get that hands-on learning that we all recognize is so critical. Now, to get to these resources, it does require an accredited academic institution email address. This is how we make these resources available to our historically Black college and university students and faculty. Once the students sign up, they're able to return to this page and be able to see a wealth of assets that they could immediately use. The same for faculty. Why would they want to come to this page? How many times have you had a faculty member reach out and say, what I really would benefit from is if I was able to get industry speakers to cover artificial intelligence or cybersecurity or blockchain or quantum computing with my students? Just by going to this main page, you can have that happen immediately. And I say have it happen immediately instead of searching and going through lots of different contacts. On this page towards the bottom, we have a category called University Guest Lectures. Now, it's a little misleading because it says with over 100 talks, but as I go into this, you'll see that there's over 380 different lectures available for the faculty to take advantage of. And 380 constantly being added to. As you see on my screen right now, we're looking at 389. The topics range from artificial intelligence, blockchain, data science, and they're all not just technical topics. There's design thinking, there's ethics topics, there's business process management. There's a wealth of different topics that you and the faculty can take advantage of for students to be able to recognize the depth and breadth of how industry is already using technology today. This is available with speakers that are IBMers from around the globe. Here are the series of languages that are available for faculty to pick from. They can also select a duration. Maybe they only want a 1-hour lecture or a half an hour lecture to build into their syllabus. To really give students that global view, you can pick speakers from around the globe. And we have this available not only where we do it remote video conference with the students, just like you and I are having this discussion today, it can be the interactive video conference approach. So think about that. Think about students hearing from Eduardo as he talks about Here is predictive modeling applied to brain imaging. So when we start talking about technology and applying it to the problems of the world, this is a great example of a way that Eduardo can, through video conferencing, be part of a faculty member's class, talking about this directly with those students. This is available all at no charge. We do this as a way to be able to leverage the subject matter expertise that we have with our executives, our researchers, our consultants, and more, and be able to engage them with the faculty and be able to have those faculty leverage this expertise as part of lectures in their class. To make that happen, it's as easy as clicking by faculty on this green box. When they click on the green box, they fill in the 4 to 5 items here. You can see it's really straightforward. They pick the desired time frame. We do ask for 4 weeks notice since these are IBMers working day in and day out, doing their research or working with IBM clients. But this is a really great way, instead of spending time trying to find a resource, this is a repository of those resources and the topics that they can cover with the faculty, with their students, as those students start seeing how these technologies are applied to real world problems today. And the level of expertise is phenomenal. These are IBMers who are already in many ways working with an academic community. Some of them may not be working with an academic community, but they have engagement day in and day out in their area of expertise. But here's a great example of somebody who has engagement day in and day out in their expertise, but also has a long history with working in academia. He currently is an IBM attorney. He is very able to have the conversation with students about cybersecurity. Here's his credentials. So not only is he currently an IBM attorney, he's also previously been part of the U.S. Navy Academy, worked with the Navy CIO. You can read his abstract here to give you an idea of the depth of his ability to have these conversations based on the roles he's doing currently, as well as roles he's done previously. So that's an example of some of the resources we're providing at no charge through the IBM Academic Initiative. That's one of the capabilities. Now, to make it even more exciting, if that wasn't enough, think about what's available beyond that speaker. Robert, not only is he exciting as being able to deliver that cybersecurity law discussion, wouldn't it be great if after that, faculty could point students to other resources to really drive that discussion home? On the main page for the IBM Academic Initiative, we have this whole discipline around law, talking about trademark searching, blockchain and smart contracts, cybersecurity and data privacy compliance. So a host of resources to really help guide faculty into having students go beyond that conversation with the lecturer to what do they want to do next to apply their learning. When I went into the discipline section, not only do you see that we have law there, there's a section for healthcare as well. Very similar makeup. We can talk about data science and analytics in healthcare, talk about artificial intelligence in healthcare, blockchain in healthcare, Internet of Things in healthcare. So just a really good way, once the students have had that lecture opportunity, to take it to the next level. So think about this as you run into discussions with HBCUs and they say, what I really would love is to be able to have a speaker come in once a month. This is, through video conference, a great way to make that happen. Some of these are pre-recorded so that they could take that into consideration in building their syllabus for the semester or for the quarter. There's many options available here. And once you look at the disciplines, you're going to be able to see that we're building this out, continually adding to it, continually expanding. But we also give you the way to look at what's available from a more pure technology standpoint. Lots of times, one of the main things that HBCUs are looking for is how do we access the technology so our students get their hands on them? Under the technology tab, you can see we've highlighted some of the top 4 areas that we find our schools wanting to get their hands on technologies for the students to use. But we also, under the See All category, highlight not only those 4, but several other categories. These categories then summarize some key resources that faculty could use in the classroom. And when I say summarize, think about the resources that come to mind for you as a person in the field leveraging data science today to run your business or to run our government. Think about utilizing those tools with students. Wouldn't it be great if the students could go somewhere and get industry tools to get that experience around data science that you wish they had experience in before you hired them? This is part of how we accomplish that. Through the IBM Academic Initiative, and remember, we provide these resources at no charge through their institution-issued email address. That's how we then provide access to the software. This is software. Because they've signed in with that institution-issued email address, they're able to go in and download immediately. The software here in data science includes areas like predictive and text analytics. IBM's SPSS Modeler Premium program is what we provide here for students to do predictive and text analytics. And just by clicking on, I happen to be working on a Mac version, so I'll download Mac. With that click, I go to our software catalog and I can now download this predictive and text analytics package to my machine. It's that simple. It is dependent upon that institution issued email address at registration we talked about a few minutes ago. That literally gives the faculty and students keys to the kingdom. So once I clicked on I have a Mac, it gives me the ability to go in and download the software for my Mac operating system. It allows me to see the documentation as well. So as I look through here, I'm able to get the premium version. I'm able to get the documentation. The agreement requires, since this is for academic use by accredited academic institutions, that I agree this will be for academic purposes. I agree, and then I hit download now. Now you're kind enough to be having this conversation with me, so there's no way I'm going to download it now to take your precious time away from what more resources we have to cover today. Instead, I wanted you to see a taste of how easy it is to download that one piece of software, because hopefully what you realize is there's so much more out there. This was one piece of software around data science and business analytics. We have so much more. We have our iLog optimization product. This is where algorithms come into play. Think about everything we're seeing today about not only a year ago, toilet paper not being on the shelves, but think about some of the more recent areas where we ran into challenges with gasoline issues, with ketchup. Helping our students understand supply chain management and optimization and algorithms and utilizing industry software to do it. That's the benefit of the faculty knowing about these resources that are available to them at no charge in the IBM Academic Initiative program. As you look at this, you'll see that there's a wealth of resources, in this case, software. This is our Watson Studio software. So this is leveraging machine learning. This tool down here, a lot of that functionality has been integrated into the Watson Studio desktop. So this allows the students and the faculty to really introduce their classrooms and the students in those classrooms to more and more of how industry leverages and depends upon these technologies today. Data visualization, and the list goes on as ways for faculty to introduce the students to more and more of these assets. And if that wasn't enough, if there's a particular asset that the faculty is interested in but wasn't listed above, they get the option to explore the IBM software catalog and choose from the catalog through search words, part numbers. Most of our software is here. I say most because not all of it is here. Not all of it is here because there's some software that's not in the catalog because we have, as we acquire companies, some other steps we have to go through for those processes, but we have tens of thousands of pieces of software in the catalog. So we want to encourage faculty to go out here and explore. We want to encourage students to go out here and explore. There's a ton of wealth, literally wealth waiting for them at their fingertips. Another way that we get students and faculty started is getting started courses that are e-learning courses in these high-demand skill areas are available. It enables the students to go through and take an online course. This Getting Started with Data Science is 3.5 hours long. The great thing about it is there are knowledge check questions embedded into the course. There's simulated labs embedded into the course. When the student completes the course, they get an IBM Getting Started with Enterprise Data Science badge. So hopefully it starts them down that path of getting some of these foundational skills, but then wanting to learn even more. And when they choose to learn even more, we have additional courses and tutorials out there to make that happen. As we look at several of these areas, you've seen I've been going through the tabs in the middle of my page that I've been moving around in our conversation today. There's badges, there's career information. So this should really be a great way as you work with our HBCUs to introduce them to a real defined interface for them to get access, not only to industry assets like software and speakers, but tutorials, courseware, badges, and to show students through our career tabs, here are the types of jobs and opportunities that are out in the market today. Why would we want to do that? Well, on May the 7th, we and IBM created a press release with some of our major ecosystem partners highlighting the resources available to our HBCUs. That's a press release easily found by searching on IBM press release HBCUs May 7th. And you'll see this press release. And there's a report that we also published on that very same day about engaging HBCUs, the power of leveraging Black talent. So not only will you see the press release, you'll have this amazing study that you can share with your peers, with your coworkers, with other industry partners about the value of partnering with HBCUs. So I highly encourage you to take advantage of that press release, take advantage of that study that came out from IBM on May the 7th about our work with HBCUs. Now, there's even more, because remember, on that IBM Global University Programs page, we just went into the first of the 3 areas I told you that we would talk about. The next area is our IBM Skills Academy. This is significant because this is an integrated program that we developed in IBM to really empower faculty to not only get training, but have that training that they go through integrated in such a way that they are able to return to the classroom with their students and teach the topics you see on my screen on the left-hand side here. They're able to return after they go through approximately 30 hours of training with us, and it's an online training vehicle with an instructor with faculty from other higher education institutions around the globe. As faculty go through this training, they go through the 30 hours of being able to ask questions about the curriculum, about the lecture material, about the notes, about the labs, about the information that's been compiled, so that upon their completion of that 2-week online course, which averages about 3 hours a day, they're able to return to their classroom and teach with the same content they learned on. In addition to that same content that they learned on being available for them to teach as part of this program, we keep that content current. We're constantly adding to it, constantly updating it. One of the biggest challenges in our space in technology is it's changing daily. That makes it really challenging typically for our faculty to be able to keep up with the amazing work they do teaching, but also keep up with making sure that their assets and resources are current as well. That's one of the fundamental foundational purposes for the IBM Skills Academy. In these 8 areas, we have a curriculum team leveraging subject matter expertise across IBM to pull this content together and bring it to faculty for them to be able to use in their classroom. This is not teaching them to be IBMers. It's teaching the concepts around the areas that you saw earlier: artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data science, Internet of Things. But not just teaching the concepts. We want to make sure on top of those concepts and methodology, the students get that hands-on lab piece. not just with IBM assets. 60% of the assets used in the labs are open source. So students get this range of experience as they go through learning what are the tools in artificial intelligence, what are some of the assets in Internet of Things, in data science. Then we go into the third key pillar here of how this program was designed around use cases. So students can see this is how things like cloud computing are already used today to drive businesses on a global basis. This is how quantum computing already is being investigated to address some of the problems of the world. So when we look at this, the goal really is for students and faculty to get this three-pronged approach on these 8 different areas, and the school picks which of the areas apply to them. A school may decide, I'm only really interested in data science and blockchain, or they may decide I'm interested in 7 of the 8 areas. The school, by identifying a single point of contact and putting the appropriate agreements in place, defines their teaching strategy on how to leverage these assets. Now, when they teach, they can add on to what's available, but can't take away from it. And the reason that we can't have the content carved up is because we all have an operating system we started up this morning to begin our day. Few of us built our own operating system, but we get to add things onto that to make us more effective in our work. This is the same concept. We have 75 hours of content that the faculty can add on to as they're bringing these concepts to their students. Because at the end of the class, the students will take an exam. And we want to make sure the students have enough of the content to pass the exam. The exam is based on the lecture and the lecture notes. So that's why as faculty are going through, this content's here through an education portal for them to be able to take advantage of with their students. Faculty get a certificate that authorizes them to teach the content when they're done. The students get the certificate showing that they are now a practitioner in this space when they've done the 75 hours. So this is a real amazing way, hopefully, that you see that we can engage with the faculty as a teach-to-teacher model so that they're able to bring this to their students. Now, as I start wrapping up my final minutes with you today, I want to give you insight into what that looks like. I'm bringing up my own dashboard for the IBM Skills Academy. You'll see that not only do I have the modules out there for the 8 tracks that we talked about previously, you'll see that there's multiple tiles for each of the tracks. Because as you look through here, what you'll see is, I said we keep it current. This is examples of different courses and different finals based over years. So this is, as you can see, the 2021 version of Artificial Intelligence, our instructor edition. We also have an e-learning edition. You will be able to see that as you go through what's available. We had a course for artificial intelligence in 2019, a course that was updated for 2020, and then the course you saw on my screen earlier for 2021. Then we have the exams that go with those associated courses, 75 hours of content. And then you can see on my left-hand side, data science, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, blockchain. The 8 areas you saw on my prior screen, this is the actual dashboard of how we deliver. Now, a little insight behind the curtain of what the course looks like. Think about as you take your courses today, how key it is for faculty to be able to leverage the technology on multiple platforms, but also make sure it's been updated. I showed you how we update courses year to year. We actually even continue to update the courses as the year goes on. This is one of the fundamental ways the Skills Academy was designed to help our faculty. Then we give them headlights into what those updates are on this page. There's an instructor guide. There's additional material for faculty. And then as the students begin going through the material, they will then see the lectures here. They will then see labs here. They will see as they go through the case study, here's how we set up integrating all of this together. So hopefully, as we have this conversation today, and you have schools that say, I would really like for my students to be able to learn about cybersecurity, but we cannot compete against industry, This is a fundamental way that they can potentially train their own faculty to bring this to their campus. So think about that. Think about these are the assets that you now are aware of through that IBM Global University Programs link, all with just that simple click of getting your students to the page so that they can take advantage of the academic initiative. For the IBM Skills Academy, we do that at a school level. So the school does go through the process of incorporating our agreements with their faculty being trained into their teaching strategy. So as we look at this, what we hope that you see here is an exciting way for the students and faculty to go through this content. And I'm not going to hit the start button here because I recognize we have about 3 minutes left in our conversation. I hope you're excited to see that, and I definitely won't start the video because you might want to stay on this page. I would hope that you see how this content's been developed. Think of it. You have someone who would love to incorporate with their HBCU artificial intelligence. Isn't this an amazing way to do it in a short amount of time, but not shortchanging the students on the experience about artificial intelligence and how it applies to the problems of today and tomorrow? So I hope as you see this, the final thing you're thinking is, we talked about there's no cost for the academic initiative. What's the cost for the Skills Academy? We've waived the fees for the HBCUs. In the work I've been doing with our HBCUs over the last four years specifically, and I should have mentioned at the beginning, I am an HBCU graduate. So you probably guessed by now, I spent some time in my 30 plus years doing some work with education more than the last several years. I'm very pleased to say, as a graduate of West Virginia State University, I've been with IBM those 34 years and been able to work a great deal with education. But the last 4 years, the work specifically with HBCUs has been phenomenal. We have over 247 faculty that have been trained in these programs in our HBCUs. Think of that. What we're talking about here today, think about the number of faculty out there that you know. Think of the university leaders that you know. Think of the presidents and provosts that are sharing with you. They would love to bring this to their campus, but they don't have the talent maybe. This is a way we help them leverage their current talent and bring not only the skills to their current amazing faculty, but also enable them with the resources behind the faculty to teach, utilizing the assets they were taught on. Now, as I wrap up in my final minute with you, I will go back to our IBM Global University Program's final section, Global University Awards. IBM has been working with academia for decades. Don't take my word for it. On our awards page, you will see that under PhD fellowships, we have been doing IBM PhD fellowships since 1951. We have this year, coming in the September-October timeframe, nominations that will be accepted from faculty for our PhD fellowship program, which is a $95,000 award in the US spread over 2 years. Last year was our inaugural year for the Master's Fellowship Award program. It's an inaugural year last year. We will start accepting nominations this year in September. It's a $10,000 award. I will share with you last year, each of the fellowship award winners received $16,000. The goal is that we work with our HBCUs to really help them with their students see the roadmap for getting to that next level, for those advanced degrees, becoming researchers, becoming entrepreneurs. So I'm proud to share with you, as I wrap up in my final discussion with you today, here are the Master's Fellowship Award recipients from last year. And I ask for your help so that award recipients will be notified this year because of the work that you're going to do to help us spread the word about these programs. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope this has been a session that you've benefited from, and I look forward to talking to you potentially in the future while you share this exciting message. Have a great day.